Oh yes, boys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to the vlog, and welcome to a very special episode where we are actually going to do a full overview of all the vehicles that I've got here on the channel as of October 2021. We got a lot of turnover and a lot of changes that happen here on the channel, and honestly, posting only 3 times a week, it's impossible to get you guys updates on every single one of these videos, and I genuinely try my best to incorporate every single one in as many components of videos as possible, but honestly, it's become practically impossible. So I wanted to get everything lined up, not only to make this video, but also to see pretty much all the vehicles that I've got here behind me all together at one time. Now, before we jump into the 6 vehicles here behind me and some of the other ones that are actually not here for reasons that I'll explain later, I just gotta say, guys, I'm so unbelievably grateful to have the opportunity to make videos, to share with all of you, and to be able to connect with you from where I'm at in Pennsylvania all across the world, because I know that I've got quite a reach that honestly, even in my mind, is hard to internalize at times, and for that I have to say thank you so much. Standing right here in front of these 6 vehicles behind me is a total dream come true, and candidly, when I started my YouTube channel, I did it for no other reason other than just to connect with like-minded people like all of you that watch this channel. So to see where it's gone and what it's become, to have a lineup like this here behind me is something that I'll never lose sight of, because it does feel like a dream every single day. So what I'm gonna do, guys, is take you through every single one of these vehicles here behind me. We're gonna go over some of the awesome memories that we've had with the vehicles that have been around for longer than others. We're gonna go over current mods. We're gonna go into future plans and vehicles, and then when we're done, we're actually gonna start them up and we're gonna give you guys some sounds, because each and every single one of these back here makes some pretty outstanding noises. But before we get started, we are missing one vehicle, and that is our 2022 High Country DURTYMAX, the brand new one that we bought probably about a month ago at this point in time. It's over at Accelerate Auto, where its color change is commencing. We're gonna be revealing that color change, something that we've never done on the channel here before. Honestly, something that I've never seen done before on a 2022 High Country DURTYMAX across the whole space. So if you guys are excited about that, I'd definitely consider tapping that subscribe button. So as you can see back here, we've got my 2 petroleum vehicles, Boosted, aka a 2019 RIP Supercharged JLU, and my Audi R8, sandwiching in the diesel trucks. We're actually gonna start with one of my most prized vehicles, which is not a diesel, consequently, but it's that Jeep right there. This right here is our 2019 JLU Sahara Jeep Wrangler. We've had this one around for some time, and you know what? It holds a very special place in my heart and on this channel, because consequently, although I'm a diesel-focused channel predominantly, this is our most viral vehicle that we've ever had across the channel, because it is the singular focus for all of my 1 million+ view videos. So we did a few things to this thing. The first video being one that I had a blast making, and that's when we had put a 2.5-inch TerraFlex lift kit on it with some adjustable Falcon shocks, 3-way dampening. Adjustable Falcon shocks, really, really nice, by the way. And then we took it through Pennsylvania red clay, and right there we surprised my wife with not a lifted Jeep, but a muddy Jeep, and she had no idea that we had actually lifted it. So that was a really, really fun video. You guys seemed to get a ton of enjoyment out of that, and I had just as much fun making it. That was actually one of few viral videos. Truthfully, guys, I'm not in YouTube to try and seek clout or notoriety from a famous perspective. I just want to share really enjoyable moments that are automotive related with you guys. And then the second video was when we actually installed a really awesome supercharger kit on this thing by RIP, and that's how we coined this Jeep name Boosted. We've just been driving this thing and enjoying everything that it is in the way that it sits today. But we've got our RIP supercharger kit. You can see that gnarly front mount sitting on it. Makes a few pounds of boost. It really opened up the Pentastar 3.6 liter, and that was a fun video too, because I got it home after telling my wife that it was down at the shop for a recall, and that Mopar was actually sending us out a new revision to the tune because something was messed up in it. Of course, me kind of selling her in this gullibility, I took her out for a ride and asked if she noticed any noises, and that's when we revealed the fact that we actually supercharged her Jeep.
Okay, something's not right.
What do you mean?
I think it's broken. Oh my God, what is that noise?
So that vehicle right there, although not a diesel, holds an unbelievably special place in my heart. and it's left a lasting impression here on the channel. Now, just to go over the rest of the mods on this, we've got some slight tint on the windshield, 50%, 5% on the sides. It is a Sahara with leather and the infotainment cold weather group, so it's got remote start, heated seats, etc. We did Rubicon rock rails on it, some 17-inch fuel vector wrapped in a 35 12.5 R17 Toyo Open Country. That's a really nice combination that personally looks amazing on these Jeeps. I think sometimes anything over 17 or 18 inches on these Jeeps can be just a little bit much for my personal preference. We've got Recon sequential daytime running light turn signals and our tinted clear amber on the side, Oracle OEM style headlights with projectors, and then Oracle tinted factory style taillights on the rear with a full-size rear and a reinforced gate bracket right here. So without further ado, let's fire this thing up. The best sounds from the Jeep don't come from the back because it's still on a stock exhaust. They come from right up front. There is why we coined this one boosted, because boosted JLUs are very few and far between. Atmospheric blow-off valve on this thing sounds so sick. It never gets old. Now we're gonna jump into the diesel category. We've got a really bullish lineup here. We're gonna start with the biggest bull of all, which is Convict 2020 F450 Platinum that I bought as my daily driver after I gave away my 2020 white Denali for Dream Diesel giveaway number 15. Now, if you're new to the channel, or if you haven't heard yet, I'm sure most of you already know that this is Dream Diesel giveaway number 20. Not only is this truck up for grabs, but it also comes with $30,000 in cash. So if you want to get entered for that, check the link in the description below. But anyway, guys, let's talk a little bit about this truck. Me and this thing, just like that thing, have a lot of memories together, but the memories and the emotions associated with this one are just a little bit different. Some of you might have seen, some of you might not have, but this truck actually got repoed from my driveway. It was right here. There was a repo truck that showed up and knocked on my door as I was in the house with my son napping, and that was a massive whirlwind of emotions that you guys were really surprised with how I handled, because I think that I was probably the calmest person ever to record myself while one of my vehicles was getting repoed, but that was mostly because I knew I was innocent and I knew Lime Ridge Automotive was innocent. It was just a little bit of a title holdup that, thank the Lord, we got figured out, got the truck back almost a week later. But that was an insane memory, and that was, out of all the vehicles I've ever owned, hopefully the last one that ever gets repoed, because it's definitely not a situation I would want anybody to experience. And we had actually just modified the truck to its first phase. We had it on a Carly leveling kit that ended up coming off and going on to Sarge, which was Dream Diesel giveaway number 18, on a really nice set of polished American Force wheels that also came off and went on to Dream Diesel giveaway number 18, aka Sarge, which was our gloss army green F450 Platinum. That truck was so sick, and that's what set us up for now what Convict is today in its V2 form. I guess you could call V3, V2 on suspension and V2 on exterior. Now it's chalk gray, and pretty much everything's been customized on it. We've got, starting from the ground up, 24-inch JTX gloss black wheels with these massive gloss black spikes, rolling around on a 37-13-5-24 Ridge Grappler, really awesome tire by Nitto. And it is a super single rather than your traditional concave dually style. In the rear, we've got the super concave JTXs again with the gloss black phantom look and a massive stance. This thing is just colossal, but so easy to drive for how big that it is. All blacked out accents with gray complement throughout. Rolling around on King shocks in the rear, we've got a PMF 4.5-inch lift kit with their traction bars and custom enthusiast brackets there on the side. And then up front, it's PMF's 3-link setup that is actually powder coated to match the factory white color on this truck. There's a look at some of your accents. Again, black mirrors, gray caps, you guys get the idea. And then up underneath, we converted this truck from a coil spring, like that right there, to a coil over by none other than King, with dual reservoirs, one for the coilover, one for the shock. It's a really gnarly setup. And then up front, King dual steering stabilizers, just to add a few things to the equation. This truck has a ton of mods, and we've got a video that I'm actually gonna link right up in the corner so that way you can watch through a complete rundown, because honestly I could make an entire video about it, but it's already been done, so go check that out after this one. And also, one of the coolest things about that truck right there is it was the first F450 Platinum that I had ever purchased, and being a pretty die-hard DURTYMAX guy, going by DURTYMAX Jack, and my first diesel truck truck being a Duramax, I gotta say these F450s are absolutely incredible, and it's really gonna be hard for me to give up the keys for that thing to one of you, but it's gonna be so great in that same moment because you're gonna get to experience how absolutely epic they actually are, and the looks on those trucks are, bar none, best looking dually in the game, 0 questions asked. This one's been super fun watching it go through its transformation, and what was even cooler about it was when we bought it, it already made some noises. So I think the coolest part about this truck is it's one of a kind and it looks just as good as it sounds. All right, now we're right in about the middle of the pack. We're 3 in, we've got 3 to go, and that is none other than 8-Ball. This truck's been around for quite a while. We're going on almost 2 years time now, and it's the successor of what was my white single cab Duramax, AKA the Minimax. Now, the Minimax was a legendary beast in and of itself. We had a ton of fun with that thing and shared a bunch of amazing memories together. And honestly, this truck is its successor, but I'll never ever forget the Minimax and what that truck actually was for its essentially stock motor, big turbo S467 setup that absolutely just kicked ass. The thing with the Minimax was we were maxed out at about 700 horsepower on its 100 over injector 10 mil S467.7 pedestal fixed vane turbo setup, whereas this truck was its successor not only because it was a different vehicle, but also because the 5.9 platform, they're just really fascinating. But this truck I had actually picked up at auction over Mannheim Auto Auction, which happens to be one of the biggest auto auctions in the world, and it's right in my backyard, which is a huge blessing in so many different ways. And it was kind of left for dead as a beat up, rusted farm truck, and then I came along and fell in love with it and took it up to 8-Ball standard today. So there's been tons of memories with this thing, most prominently being it was the first vehicle I ever owned that achieved with ease over 1,000 horsepower, inevitably making 1,113 wheel horsepower through a 156,000 mile 5.9 Cummins. So popping open the hood here, we're gonna start up underneath because predominantly this is what makes 8-Ball 8-Ball. There's a lot of mods that have been done to it though that we'll get into soon, but it was my first ever compound turbo truck and first ever truck to achieve over 1,000 horsepower, and that was predominantly thank you to the team over at Dieselworks and at Firepunk. Dieselworks did the installation of the head that was firing from D&J Precision, which is a very preferred vendor of the boys over at Firepunk. The turbo setup was installed by Dieselworks, piping installed by Dieselworks, front mount installed by Dieselworks, and then we went out to Firepunk and had it not only tuned, but had the transmission fully built to the golden standard 48RE, and then they programmed in the Anteater, which is the control module that lets us manually shift this truck and select the enable or disablement of the auto or manual functions, as well as disabling or enabling the converter. And you know what, guys, I haven't climbed up under here yet. Although kind of hard to see, the transmission is still gold. And we've got that nice deep Firepunk pan that hangs out ever so discreetly under here, but means business big time. We've got Exergy fueling, 250 over injectors, and a 12 mil pump, all making 1,113 at the wheels, but its street tune setup is dialed back a little bit at a casual 950. Remember, it's a stock block 156,000 mile motor. So we haven't met Uncle Rodney yet, but I hear he has ambitions to be an astronaut. We're just gonna have to see where his career takes him. So that brings us to the exterior of this truck. We've gone through a lot of things with Peach Bottom Auto Body. We put the Sport Laramie front bumper on, blacked out the headlights, Sport Laramie front grille paint match style, and a cowl hood, which looks absolutely incredible. Sean did replace one of the fenders for me because this thing was very rusty indeed, and it was starting to show through pretty bad on the exterior. 4th gen painted Boost Auto Part mirrors that are auto fold in, 5% tint. Paint match door handles. One of the cooler parts of this truck that don't get seen often are the SRT10 seats that bolt right in this thing from the Dodge Viper SRT10. We did a head unit and some pillar gauges just to keep an eye on things, but it's still a pretty basic truck. Coming around the rear, we've got a brand new bed that we put on this thing. Well, new to me, used to the world, that I found in a non-rusted condition. Did a roll pan on the back and some more paint match factory tail lights, and then a full 5-inch straight pipe off of that atmospheric S480 that's fed by the S467 and Steed Speed manifold. This thing's an absolute beast in so many different ways, and one thing that I'm so excited for is getting some time back after the building is completed, because this truck is going to be going under the knife because there's a lot of things that I want to do to it, but unfortunately I just haven't had the time to do. Well, so let's start it up. So I think the coolest part about 8-Ball is the fact that it is essentially just a farm truck left for dead, turned into a complete beast, and I also think it's Jack's favorite truck. Do you think so? Which one's your favorite?
Truck, yes!
Truck! Yes! Good job! Car!
Good job.
Good job! High five. Truck!
Say the word.
Truck!
Truck!
Good job, I'm proud of you. Truck!
So many.
Are you gonna be a vlogger when you grow up?
Your head's kind of cut off.
I interrupt this moment to bring you a rock. Little Jack's favorite thing is to be outside, and we as parents have absolutely no problem with that. He also loves the mud. We're excited for grass to grow, but hey, boys will be boys and God made dirt. The stuff don't hurt. Now let's move on to Jake's LBZ. So this one shares a very sentimental place in my heart and in this journey, and my wife's as well, because it had always been a dream of mine to give a near and dear friend of mine, aka a brother of mine, Jake, a truck. And the story starts way back in the day when I had actually moved to the first town in Lancaster County as somebody that wasn't from here, a transplant, going to the gym with the OG DURTYMAX. A lot of people recognized the truck, but just didn't assign me as the owner. And one day, coming back from a 9 to 5, I'd stopped at GNC and met Jake there formally for the first time, although he had lifted at the gym and I'd see him in passing. Very short of the long, he associated me to that truck finally, and it was at that point in time a friendship had bestowed into a brotherhood. Now, at that time, I had an Instagram, which is the same Instagram I have at DURTYMAX. If you don't follow me, definitely do so. I'd love to connect with you guys on Instagram. So he was there from the very beginning of when I started this journey on YouTube, and he had seen it kind of turn into what it's grown into today, which was never part of the plan, as I had mentioned earlier. So Jake and I had grown very, very close over the years, and I think that his diesel obsession was somewhat in part due responsible to mine. So when I had the opportunity to have him come and hang out with us here more on the vlog, it was immediately one of my goals to get him into a DURTYMAX that is forever going to be classic, and that's an LBZ. So I was on the hunt for this truck for months and months and months. I interrupt you for an extremely cute moment. Look at little man cruising. He's in his Denali. He's like, Dad, I gotta bring my Denali out. I want it to be on the vlog too. Yes, 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 he has a white Denali. And that was this truck. And the truck showed a cool story too, because it came from a buddy of mine by the name of Ryan. So I had seen the truck evolve to what it was before we took it into possession. And now it's Jake's daily driver, and he fits it like an absolute glove. So we'll start on the exterior real quick before we pop the hood. The truck, from a paint match and aesthetics perspective, is pretty much how we got it. The only thing that I changed were the tires to these Nitto 420Vs that are 45/22s on a set of 22x12 polished American Force tracks. It already had the tint. It's got a fast lift pump on it. I did end up adding my signature backflip MX4, which is also on number 20, and my daily driver, which is MISFIT, that we'll get into. It's got some aftermarket tail lights, paint match bezel, paint match door handle, paint matched mirrors, enthusiast decal on the back. But really what we transformed it from was a stacked truck to a non-stacked truck. So we got a 5-inch exhaust for it. And then I surprised Jake with some Whirly Custom Fab goodies. We've been working with Whirly Fab since the beginning of time, and they've become like family to us, and I know a lot of you. So Illusion Teal traction bars installed by Tyler at Next Level Performance. Illusion Teal diff cover on the back, and then the real magic happens when you open up the inside of this thing to see not only a leather interior LT3 with a sunroof, but really what's under the hood. What's up, bud? Look at you rolling, my man. So the real change occurs when you pop the hood and you get to see this beautiful layout up underneath. And you can see Jake takes so much pride in this truck. He cleans it pretty much every single week, always looking at the forecast, and really just treats it how I would treat my vehicles. And that makes me so proud. So we've got full Whirly custom fab piping kit, Y-bridge kit, and coolant system on this truck. That looks a little low only because we're parked kind of on an angle right now. Everything's fine. I'm sure there's gonna be somebody in the comments that calls that out. Whirly custom fab upper radiator hose with the relocation for van style versus the one that goes down and around. Custom by Whirly fab engraved enthusiast brake reservoir cover and Stealth 64 by DURTYMAX tuner up under the hood, powder coated to match. So we took this truck from an already really nice LBZ and made it just that much nicer. The best part about all of that was I ordered it right when we got the truck and then surprised Jake with it to truly kind of bring him into the circle and show him what it is that we're all about here on the channel. I may or may not have bought you an LBZ DURTYMAX.
You're kidding me, dude.
I'm not kidding you, dude.
Yeah, you are.
This is 100% real.
You're joking.
I'm not joking. You deserve it, man. Don't turn the camera on. I look like a bitch face. Tell you what, guys, the Stealth 64 Turbo speaks for itself. I talk about it all the time. If you're considering a VGT, hit up DURTYMAX tuner, pick yourself up one of them. You are not going to regret it. We are on to the last diesel before we switch over to the petroleum world again with the R8, but that's none other than MISFIT, who's been my recent daily driver. Now, I haven't had this truck for all that long, but it's still got a really cool story. And if you haven't noticed by now, there's a common theme with the reason why I do everything and build my trucks the way that I do is because I feel like being an automotive enthusiast is allowing these vehicles to be an expression of yourself. And I'd like to say that I am far from normal, and I pride myself on that because normality is normal. What fun is that, right? And that's how I like to build my trucks, and being kind of far from normal, but walking a line of normality in what I define as OEM plus. Now, I'd always been against having black vehicles as daily drivers because they're so challenging to keep clean, but this 2021 AT4 kind of changed my perspective on that some. This truck, as you see it, has not changed since I bought it, and that is a rarity in so many different ways. That's because I actually bought this from a subscriber who'd been following along with the channel for quite some time. His name is Josh, and he lives in California. This is a 2021 AT4, and at the time it only had 8,000 miles on it, and he did exactly what you see that's done to it. Any of the paint match components like the fender flares here, the Boost Auto Parts lights, the paint matched mirrors, the Enthusiast bullet antenna, the 22x14 fuel wheels wrapped in the 355/40 tires with Cognito upper control arms and Fox shocks with reservoirs, the big old sub that has AT4 branding on it, the amplifier, and all of the associated sound system mods. And then all I did was add some amp power research steps and the backflip MX4 tonneau cover like I had alluded to earlier. Tinted it just a little bit darker and called it a day. Now the cool story in it was I was beginning to start my hunt for what was going to replace my daily driver, being CONVICT at the time, in its V1 fashion. And I was skimming through some of my DMs, which I do every day, and I try to answer as many of you as I possibly can. So if I never get back to you, I apologize. I get a lot of them in there, which I'm so grateful for. So if you really have something to tell me, stay at it and I will answer your direct message eventually, I promise. Welcome back, little Jack and wifey. What's up, dude? It looks like you got a little dirty, but luckily you got some Crocs, so that makes cleaning easy. Mom's shaking her head over here.
I love it.
It's all good in the hood. And that brings us to a direct message that I got from Josh. And he had been following with the channel, and he had actually built this truck to somewhat mimic the setup that I had on my white 2020 Denali, aka Dream Diesel Giveaway number 15, with the 355s, the 2214, the level kit, etc. So Josh, an individual that I had never met in my entire life before, built the truck to take after what I do on my channel, which was a massive compliment. Extremely humbling, by the way. And it was at at that moment in time that I'd never seen the truck, but I knew that I would love it because this man left no stone unturned. So other than what you guys see right here on the exterior with the two things that I mentioned, I did do DURTYMAX tuners, emissions intact, shift on the fly, and I've made videos about that in the past, but I'll show you how it works really quickly. Start the truck up, and all you do is you hit the cancel button, your glow plug flashes to what tune you're in. It's that simple. And it's made a massive change to the truck. It's woken it up big time, and it's completely gotten rid of the dead pedal. And then to take it a step further, what I do to all my vehicles, no matter the vehicle, a giveaway or a personal, is we get them fully paint corrected and ceramic coated by none other than Accelerate Auto in Lancaster County off of Harrisburg Pike by the Park City Mall. Brody has just become a homie of mine. He's gonna be a homie for life. He's out killing it in the world. I'm happy to support him as he supports me. And that brings me to the exhaust note, which is honestly ever so disappointing, but we can't leave MISFIT out, right? We got to include the truck. I wish that there was more to this one, guys, but there's really not, and you'll see what I'm talking about. I have a pretty sensitive microphone on this thing, but I'm not even sure it picked up that noise. And last in the lineup, but certainly not least, is the Audi R8 that we just recently added as a successor to my C7 Z06, which at the time was my dream car and is still my dream car. I think if any of these vehicles have successors like this one to my Corvette, that Corvette's still going to be a dream of mine because hindsight's 2020, and that car left such an impact and an impression on me that I'll never forget. If anything, if I had more room, I'd have them both right now, but it just didn't make sense with all the vehicles that I already have. So this is a 2017 Audi R8, and it is Suzuka gray with red and black interior, and it is very much my dream car. This thing is incredible, and I still to this day, as I hold this door sill, I can't believe that I actually get to get into this thing and drive it whenever I want. It is a complete dream come true, and it feels so surreal to walk out to this car every single day in the garage and what will be in the shop. Now, I have not changed anything on this car, but to go over some of the features that it included when I first picked it up, we'll start from the back here. It has a Capristo exhaust, which is a very harmonic, beautifully sounding fabricated piece of metal that gives this 5.2 liter V10 that's shared in the Lamborghini Huracan quite an incredible exhaust note. I'm not going to say that I saved the best exhaust note for last because they all sound incredible, but what's cool about it is they all sound super different. Now coming around, we do have the carbon fiber factory package on this thing with this side air dams and the C-pillar air dams. We've got carbon fiber that surrounds the whole engine compartment, a carbon fiber Capristo front lip, carbon fiber Capristo front air canards, and Capristo carbon fiber side skirts, which look awesome, very minimalistic. This car has been debadged. The chrome around the grille was painted, Quattro removed, so it really stealthed out the whole front end. It is factory height on factory Audi wheels with spacers, which I like a lot. I'm a huge fan of these wheels because I think it complements the class and cleanliness of this car, and the spacers give a perfect stance. The car is Expel wrapped on the whole front end, headlights included, bumper included, front lip and canards included, which was very nice of the previous owner and complimented them for their attention to detail. And then it was fully ceramic coated. It's got 50% windshield tint, 5% side window tint, and a small little piece of tint in the hatch glass. Other than that, it is essentially exactly as I got it, because as with this truck, it was set up so perfectly that I honestly haven't wanted to change it. And with being an enthusiast and having the blessing of modifying a bunch of vehicles every single day, I've found that why change them if they're already awesome? Now, I'm not saying that I won't change them in the future. I most certainly will. If anything, it kind of goes to compliment my plans to twin turbo that car, but I want to embrace it as it is because when it is boosted, I want to remember what it was like driving it non-turbo. And as you guys saw in the last upload, that 500 wheel horsepower and 3,600 pounds compared to that 1,000 wheel horsepower at 6,400 pounds is very comparable. It's a super fast car for what it is, but sometimes speed isn't indicative of your overall visceral enjoyment and satisfaction that comes with a vehicle, and that car just does something for the mind and body. best part about the mods that were already done to this thing is that it has a Valvetronic Capristo exhaust on it, which is baby mode in my mind, so when Jack's napping, I can still sneak out of the garage without waking him up. Now, it wouldn't be a full walkthrough if I didn't say that we've got the Diamond C bumper pull, which has been quite a convenient addition to the fleet as of late that I mentioned in multiple of my previous uploads. But we've also got the 2021 Diamond C 32-foot deck on the neck dovetail tandem dual that's for sale. So if you guys want to grab this thing, it's got 50 miles on it, asking $25,000 or best offer. You can send me an email, dirtymax@gmail.com. It's brand new spanking new, but it's better than new because there's no 6-month wait from the manufacturer. It's right here in Lancaster. So come grab it if you're in need. Whoa, I see a naked man. Jack, come to daddy.
He gets so excited and then he like tries to like sprint.
Come to daddy.
He's like sweating. I don't know why. I'm cold. Oh
Yeah, what's up? Are you just chilling outside with your shirt off? My man. It is a really nice day to do that, isn't it? Can I have a high five? Give me a high five. Thank you. You're the man. Truck! Now the most important part of the vlog, guys, is Jack is going to pick his absolute favorite vehicle. Are you ready for this big day? Which one are you gonna pick?
He's pointing.
This one? Do you like this truck? This one? That's the winner. That's the winner right there. And Convict is where we're gonna end this vlog. So guys, thank you so much as always for following along with me, my automotive love, my passion for vehicles, and with my family. Look at little Jack now, man. He's 15 months old. He's growing up so fast and he's turning into just the coolest little kid. Honestly, doesn't get any better than this. And thank you guys for watching this video. Grab some entries for Jack's favorite truck if you guys haven't already. Smash that thumbs up button, subscribe if you haven't already. I know I'm making you so exhausted. And we'll see y'all in the next upload.